The gold prices are trading in a tight range today, supported near that 1335 mark. On your screens, a slight decline coming in right now. The investors are awaiting further cues from developments in Ukraine and key jobs report in the US as well. Some decline coming in for Indian markets, and we are below 30,000 rupees for the prices here. Take a look at the crude as well, where you have seen prices steady around though $107 a barrel. Very flat trades happening there. The West and the Russia are engaged in high-stakes diplomacy talks to cool the crisis in Ukraine, and that is something that the markets will be taking further direction from. Vijay, how are you looking at the crude oil prices now? Because energy as a space has been very, very volatile, and most important when we look at most of those economic numbers.
Manisha, yesterday I talked about the 6,225 levels on the MCX WTI crude, and that being a critical support to watch out for. Not only have we breached that threshold, but we are now consistently and comfortably trading below that level, so which tells you that the downside has now opened up. And I wouldn't really be surprised to see 6140 to 6150 also being tested. On the upside, I think as and when crude prices approach 6240 to 6260 band, there will be fresh selling pressure emanating at higher levels as the bears basically essentially try and push prices lower. So for the absolute near term, couple of trading days at best, I think you should be seeking short selling opportunities on MCX WTI crude. This is of course barring any fresh data points emanating either from geopolitical situation or the economy. As things stand today, I would feel comfortable shorting crude at higher levels.
And the prices have come down sharply as well. We did see almost 6,500 onto that account, and it's trading below 6,200 right now. But Mark, what's your view on the energy prices as such as natural gas and crude going ahead now? There have been lots of data that has been coming in from China and of course the Ukraine issue.
Well, actually, if you look at the natural gas distribution mechanisms around the world, it's not a particularly globally fungible commodity because the infrastructure is not in place to move natural gas long distances from one continent to another. So, we shouldn't see any particular impact on Henry Hub, for example, the U.S. price or the Asian prices.
Mark, also, how are you looking at the gold prices now for 2013, and what are the key cues that you would be wanting to watch out?
Look at just a long-term chart of equities versus gold, and I can take it all the way back to 1955. This is typically a ratio which goes through 10-year bull-bear cycles. So you get not just a 1 or 2 year outperformance of equities versus gold or underperformance, but it's a multi-year trend. And we're only now 2 years into outperformance of equities over gold. Just looking back at that chart, I struggle to believe that gold is going to start outperforming equities now.
Fair point, Mark. Vijay, how are you looking at the gold and silver prices, especially in the Indian markets, because we just seem to have broken below those key support levels that were following for many days?
Manisha, all throughout the recent run-up, I have maintained reservations about buying gold and silver at these prices. And the levels that I talked about as supports of 29,800, below which 29,650 would become likely, are unchanged at this point in time. I would still expect gold to test lower because the safe haven buying, or the flight to safety, if you want to call it that, has basically been a very short-lived phenomena. So I think 30,400 is now likely to act as a very stiff resistance on the upside. Where silver is concerned, I think 44,500 is a level that I've been maintaining, and I would still hold out that level as a buy opportunity for the delivery-based investors, that too in very, very calibrated and staggered lots, because the downside potential does not end at 44,500. But either which ways, I think buying into the leverage space at this point in time still remains a no-no situation as far as I'm concerned, because even the cost of carry of rolling over long positions from one settlement to the other are not being recovered very effectively. So unless that happens, unless a swing high of the previous meaningful swing high on silver is overcome very forcefully with higher volumes and open interest expansion, I don't see how a sustained upthrust can occur. This, of course, has been more of a short covering based upthrust, aided by the news of Ukraine more than any concerted buying. So I would seek lower levels from here.
Also, Vijay, how would you look at the base metal space? But because we have seen a very choppy move coming to that one. After 2 days of gains, today has been a day of profit taking. I mean, you have been pointing out you're not too keen on buying it at these current levels. Would you reiterate that?
Absolutely, Manisha. I'm seeing no exuberance on my trading terminals. I'm not seeing traders showing that sign of greed which would indicate that if they did not buy any industrial metal in this hour or on this day, they would pay a significantly higher price the next hour or the next day. There is no rush to buy, and the volumes are remaining fairly insipid. Now, unless you see euphoria or traders chasing prices upwards, I don't think you should throw your lot in on the buy side again. And as I talked about yesterday, I think 110 on aluminium, nickel at 948 to 950 band, copper at 448 levels. These are thresholds that need to be crossed very forcefully if at all the momentum is to extend beyond that. Now, these prices have not even touched those levels, but have slid below from those pressure points. That basically tells you that the traders are very iffy about extending their wholehearted support on the long side. Now, unless that support is forthcoming, I would still not write a check out on the long side.
Let's talk about the agro commodities now, where we have seen the potato prices run up quite strongly. They actually are trading much higher in the futures market than the spot markets, in a pan of many sessions thereby. Today, of course, is a day of profit taking, 0.5% down before we shut shop there. So potato MCX at 1161 on the last count. Let's get in an industry voice, and joining us on the phone line is Mr. Satinder Sethia. He's President, Sabzi Mandi Commission Agents Union, and he joins us on a phone line. Mr. Sethia, hi, welcome to the show. What is your sense in the potato prices? Because we have seen very strong gains coming in.
Good evening, Manisha. The main reason is, can I speak in Hindi if you don't mind?
Hanji, definitely you can.
जो आलू के अंदर बढ़ने का कारण जो सिर्फ और सिर्फ है हॉर्टिकल्चर डिपार्टमेंट का ये कहना कि 20% फसल को नुकसान हुआ है, दैट वाज द मेन रीजन कि जो पोटैटो प्राइसेस आर गोइंग हाई एंड हाई. सबसे बड़ी बात, गुजरात के अंदर पूरा का माल था, पंजाब और हरियाणा में आलू की डिमांड के कारण और यूपी के अंदर बारिश के कारण जो नुकसान हुआ 10 से 12% का, उसके कारण ये प्राइस हाइकअप है. लेकिन आज की डेट में 550 रुपए का आलू इज ए वेरी वेरी हाई रिस्क कमोडिटी. ये सब सट्टेबाजी का काम हो रहा है. आज की डेट में जो पोटैटो सेलिंग इज 550 रुपीज पर बैग, और ये जाके इलेक्शन ईयर है, इसको जो गवर्नमेंट कभी भी कर सकती है, एंड प्राइसेस विल डेफिनेटली कम डाउन. प्राइसेस विल डेफिनेटली कम डाउन.
हाँ जी, मिस्टर सेतिया, फिर आप कितना यहाँ से फर्दर डिक्लाइन देख रहे हैं? बिकॉज अगर हम 1 मंथ का चार्ट देखें तो पोटैटो प्राइसेस 6% ऊपर हैं, लेकिन पिछले एक हफ्ते में 2% नीचे भी आए हैं. यहाँ से कितना करेक्शन आप और एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं?
करेक्शन अभी हाल फिलहाल में, चूंकि भी आलू खुदा नहीं है, सारा आलू अभी पेट के अंदर है, जमीन के अंदर है. आलू खोदना शुरू होगा 5 दिन के बाद में, और सबसे बड़ी मार्केट को रेट करने वाले कोल्ड स्टोर के मालिक हैं. व्हाट दे आर डूइंग इट, वो किसान जो है इस वक्त बिल्कुल बेचने के मूड में है, लेने वाला कोई नहीं है. सिर्फ दे आर फोर्सिंग एंड गिविंग लोन टू फार्मर्स कि तुम हमारे यहाँ रखो. 100 रुपए पर बैग का किराया पड़ता है उनको. दैट इज द ओनली रीजन के प्राइसेस जो है बढ़ाई जा रहे हैं जो, और आपस में सौदे कर करके. द रीजन इज 85% पिछले साल भी आलू था, उतना ही आलू इस साल भी होगा. 20% कम होने के बाद भी 10% आलू जो है कच्चे के अंदर बाहर निकलता था यूपी में से, वो आलू बाहर नहीं निकला. 20 में से 10% कम कर दीजिए तो 10% का लॉस हुआ. एक्चुअल लॉस इज 10%, जो कि पिछले साल के बराबर ही आलू पहुंचेगा.
Sure. Mr. Sethia, आप फोन पे बने रहे. Vijay, what is your sense now on the charts? Because we've seen nearly 2% of decline in case of potato in last 1 week. How do you see the prices going forward?
Manisha, I've been categorically pointing out as to how potatoes have hit a top since the last week or more. I think the March month futures at 1200 are only telling you a part of the story. If you go to July and August futures, of course, the traded volumes and the market depth is significantly truncated compared to what's happening in March and April. But you will notice a pro rata annualized kind of a cost of carry of 48%. Now, I need to be assured very, very strongly by the bulls as to how one can pay 48% per annum cost of carry in a commodity like potatoes, which is available in abundance, and still make money. As a trader, it doesn't make sense at all. The financing costs itself are numbing. And what is happening is that this basis play, if you want to call it that, is sucking in a lot of rookie traders into illusionary bull market in potatoes, which can tumble at any given point in time without a warning. And the exaggerated moves that you're seeing in June, July and August futures as compared to the March month futures. If the March month future shows a price volatility of 5 rupees, on an average the June, July month futures are showing a volatility of 15. So there is a 1:3 kind of a beta factor there, which indicates a topping out of potatoes. And I would agree with Mr. Sethia that the news from the ground level is not half as negative as you are hearing at the ground level. The impact of blight, the disease blight in West Bengal is not half as bad as one is made out to be, and I would expect prices of potatoes to go back to below the 1050 mark.
मिस्टर सेठिया, आप क्या बोलेंगे? एक फाइनल कमेंट आपसे लेना चाहूंगी पोटैटोज पर कि जो मार्केट से न्यूज आ रही है वो बहुत बुलिश है। आप कहेंगे कि ज्यादा स्पेकुलेशन है मार्केट में और फसल इतनी खराब नहीं है?
मैडम, स्पेकुलेशन का ब्लाइट वहां नहीं है। पूरी वहां पर वेस्ट बंगाल के अंदर ब्लाइट की सिर्फ अफवाह है, वहां पर ब्लाइट नहीं है। वहां पर कोई ब्लाइट नहीं है, वो सिर्फ अफवाह है। ये जो स्पेकुलेटर्स जो है, सट्टेबाज जो है, दे आर मेकिंग मनी और गैम्बलिंग कर रहे हैं, दे आर डूइंग गैम्बलिंग।
तो आपको क्या लगता है यहाँ से प्राइसेस कितना करेक्ट हो सकते हैं? क्या रेंज देखेंगे आप प्राइसेस में?
मैडम, अभी यहाँ पर जो 550 रुपए का, परसों यहाँ पर 570 रुपए का जो उन्होंने अफवाह में उड़ाया था, कल 500 रुपए बिका है। आज की डेट में अभी आलू 500 रुपए लेने वाला कोई नहीं है। आगरा के अंदर पर जो एक्चुअल आलू के भरने वाला है, दे आर नॉट गोइंग टू टेक एट 500 रुपीज एट एनी कॉस्ट, क्योंकि 500 रुपए का लेके 700 रुपए का आलू निकलेगा, विच इज नॉट पॉसिबल कि निकल जाएगा आलू। आलू अप्रैल के महीने में भी स्टोर से निकलना शुरू हो जाएगा। ये सब स्पेकुलेशन, सब टोटल स्पेकुलेशन सटोरियों के साथ में कोल्ड स्टोर के मालिकों की है। जो कोल्ड स्टोर के मालिक हैं वो सट्टाबाजी भी करते हैं, और किसान को इस वक्त, किसान 3 साल के बाद किसान को चांस मिला है 500 रुपए का रेट जो है, आफ्टर 3 ईयर्स ही गेट, उसको 3 साल के कर्जे के बाद इस बार मुक्त हो सकता है, निकल सकता है इस बात से। दैट इज द ओनली रीजन कि वो किसान बेचने में इंटरेस्टेड है, लेने वाला भी कोई भी नहीं 500 रुपीज में यहाँ पर।